I got the notification, but the title says tier 1, but it's tier 2, but we go with it. Mhm, mhm,
Welcome along, everybody, to Extreme Racing League. This is I am the Beagles. This is Russian Grand Prix. This is Tier 3. Don't ignore the title there. I'm joined in the commentary box by Owen. G'day, mate. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Sorry. Quite good. Do apologise for a little delayed on this one during a absolutely soaking, bucketing down wet qualifying session, which some of the drivers are now starting to switch over to the inters, start to ease up just a little bit. So we're going to see an absolute dash to the line with the times tumbling.
Yeah, I mean, I will correct you really quickly. It is tier 2. But our drivers' champion at the minute, Hammer, down in 16th, isn't qualifying today, so that'll spice up the championship a little bit. But his championship contender isn't racing either. 33 points off the drivers' championship. So if he can secure 25 today, he only needs another 8 points to secure that spot. And quite good performance in quali here from the Racing Points, who are fighting Haas in the Constructors' Championship as well. So I think a good race to come our way. It is a full wet quali, but a dry race. So it'll be interesting to see the strategies people take here in Russia.
Certainly will be. So also about the setups. So at the moment, I presume that they would be racing around on a dry car setup. And Chenjay's has gone faster at the moment. There's Mercedes just behind him of Omar has taken that one back again from him. So we're looking good between the Mercedes and the Red Bulls. Where have you not heard that one before? Let's see the other Red Bull at the moment of 24-7B. If you want to pronounce that, he looks like it was going even quicker in the first sector. These times are going to start to tumble right now at the end of qualifying because this is the first time the track has started to form a bit of a dry line and those inters have been slapped on, so therefore the times are going to tumble because the rain is easing up. We can see on the weather report, and it's going to be a matter of really between the top 4 drivers here at the moment. This man that we're on board with, the Red Bull driver, he's going to be taking his car up to the top of the timesheets. Any second now, currently is 1.7 seconds off the pace, but the time in this track is definitely drying up. Got to look out for Chenjay, but his teammates going even quicker behind him. So as we're going to see this Red Bull take the final couple of corners. As Legend goes even quicker. There's the Red Bull driver. He'll go even quicker again, but then again, I'd have to say Chenjay is going to steal this one away from him. He's got purple sector 1, purple sector 2. And now he's currently in the last corner of the track again. It'll be on the loud pedal, but hopefully not too loud. There it is, 142.5. Nobody else seems to be going too much faster at the moment. A couple of invalidations. What do you think about this one?
A lot of drivers struggling with from the rain with the looks of it. I'm just watching a few of the guys in Sector 2 on board with Shaka as well. He's testing the lives on his outlap. But yeah, a few of the drivers not liking this wet weather. Obviously, a few people in this tier don't use assists that others use, so maybe some without the race line on are struggling. But the symbol of Hammer, he's in P16, is he's invalidated his lap, never mind. But yeah, a lot of people struggling with the wet from the looks of it.
Well, the 24/7. He's going even quicker again for the first sector, so I think it's going to be the opportunity between him now and his teammate. He's got a little bit of head of Legend now. Come to think of it, Mr. Legend in P3 has the fastest middle sector, just a little bit.
Crystal.
It's going to be close
Crystal's
between.
just crossed the line to take P4 as well in the house. A nice lap for
That's
him.
nice, yeah, exactly. Pushed Omen down a little bit. Zola's in P6. So most of the drivers are crossing the line right now. Larson doesn't look like he's going to improve anytime soon. He's got a personal best.
I think he's second up on his time, so this could be pole. And he spins out the last turn. He does cross and get the pole position sideways. That was impressive from him. But Lupo straight or second later, takes it pole in the Haas, 10th quicker. In the Haas, in the Red Bull, sorry.
Yep, does the Red Bull does do it. Further back, actually, I think at the moment Omar may very well be on for a front row. This Mercedes driver set a very impressive middle sector. As the track is drying out, you want to be one of the last ones across the line. It looked like Larson increased up to P8 at the moment. Let's see whether or not this Mercedes can dethrone either a Red Bull or a Racing Point. He's certainly going to be on the front row if he can hook up this third sector at the moment. And yes, he does. He gets pole. Pulls that one out of the bag.
Very clean enough. I think that is it for quali as Chen goes into the pits. So the Red Bull driver not getting his last qualifying lap out in the dry track, but very nice lap from Omar indeed in the Mercedes to take the pole position.
Absolutely brilliant.
Trying to figure out who these drivers are. I don't know if Omar is a full-time driver or not, but it'll be interesting for Hammer, see how far through the field he can get, how many points he can get out of today's race. But I think we've got an interesting race on its way. It looks like the rain was actually quite competitive at the front of the field, so hopefully it'll be just like that in the dry.
Yes, apologise just for the audio coming in and out and stuff like that. Just cutting the, not the audio, the pausing. If you'd like to read through those results for us there, please, Owen.
Yeah, we've got Omar in the Mercedes P1. We've got Lupo in the Red Bull P2. Legend in P3. Cheng in P4. You've got Crystals in P5. Zola in P6. And the Williams Hyper P7. Larson, the Ferrari's leading the constructors in the minute. P8. Raf in P9. Tipsy Bob P10. Neff P11. Furious P12. Vicky 13. Vito 14th. Shaka 15th. Dragon in 16th. Hammer in 17th, and AJ Racer, who got disqualified at the start of the session, down in 18th. I'm not sure what for, but see what you can do from the back of the grid.
And there you go. There's our broadcast desk right now. It's a little picture of you and myself while the drivers get ready for their for their actual racing now. As you said, it's dry. It's a little overcast, actually. You get a bit of a weather report on this one as they're going to load in. Can't change anything. The Parc Ferme. I think we have time for the introduction, that fantastic introduction video that we have. We'll stay tuned at the end of the race for that one. I'll play it. We just missed out because we didn't want to miss too much of the qualifying session, being a little bit late. But now the driver... Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say they got a beautiful photo of me here in the background. Very glad to be on this commentary desk. That's beautiful. But yeah, I think... as Hyde was saying in the chat, a lot of one-stops probably today. I think it is very easy to do the one-stop on here. I don't think the two-stop's that quick, but I mean, a safety car can do anything today. So there's a person in pole starting on softs and a few medium runners as well.
That's true. As you can see at the moment, a huge split strategy between the softs and the mediums, so it's going to definitely come into play. One stop is usually optimal. The weather conditions are overcast, and it's looking to get a bit of the sunshine might appearing here in Russia. Therefore, the track's going to heat up just a little bit. So
what is strange is if we take a look at the bottom of the grid, Furious and Tipsy Bob down in 17th and 18th. I'm not sure if that's because they joined late or if they've got a grid penalty during qualifying, but that moves Hara and AJ Racer up a few positions. Instead of them being where they were meant to start. But anyway,
that's very true.
Omar on the soft, Hugo in second on the mediums, Legend on the mediums as well. And then you got the other Red Bull teammate on the softs. Crystals is on the mediums, Zola's on the softs, Hyper on the mediums, Larson on the softs, Raf on the softs, Neff and Vicky on the mediums, Vito on the softs. And then you've got Shaka, Dragon and Hammer on the mediums. AJ Racer on softs, and then the last two on mediums. So a fairly equal split. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if everyone goes for the one stop or if any two stops come out the blue.
I believe the title's been corrected now, if I'm not mistaken, out there in the YouTube world. It hasn't?
It has.
It has. It has. Yes, it has. So in the chat, welcome. I am relaying the chat because now I had that up as well as Owen is. So I'd like to definitely get your feedback from the virtual world up to the commentary box. So there's juicy information about any of the drivers and so forth you may be supporting, strategies, any information you'd love to relay it. So full 18 drivers on the grid at the moment, as you'd mentioned there, a little bit of a what if at the back. Well, it doesn't matter now. It's going to be about who is going to be sending it up the inside of the corner there and getting through safely. Obviously Omar will have the quicker tyre, but then a little bit later he's going to have to look over his shoulder for both Legend and 24/7. If you'd like to do the race start intro.
Cool thing. So the drivers line up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here at Russia. For us anyway, done it for the drivers. Lights out and away we go. Omar gets a fairly decent start there, and yeah, looks like he got a blistering start. Actually, the 2 Red Bulls getting through those. Legend seems to have lagged off at the start, and Omar taking the defensive line. It's first is actually an AlphaTauri in the background spun. We'll go to that in a minute, but Omar keeping the inside line, and the Red Bull getting really close up back as a couple of people go wide there. Actually, a big contact from the racing point, and he's falling back down the order goes Legend, but Omar had a very good start on those softs as Hugo, I'd say his name, is up close as well. The 2 Red Bulls might get a bit scrappy here as Cheng is on the soft, so I want to be getting past as soon as he can. He actually picks up a 5-second time penalty for a corner cut and gaining a place, so that'll be served under his next pit stop. But fairly clean start here, besides for Dragon, who looks to have spun on the start.
It's fairly clean start, alright. All those drivers are all tucked up pretty well light at stone at the moment, apart from Omar, who's just got almost out of it. He's already got out of that DRS range already, which is fantastic launch too from him. He needed to get that done. He needed to get that done quickly, as we're seeing one of the other drivers dropping back quite a few places. So that looks like VTOL. Quite sure some damage or something like that. Maybe it looks like a disconnection. Go ahead.
A bit of contact there with Legends, but I think he just goes to it on the DC. Crystals looked for a move on the Red Bull in front of him, got a little bit of a tap, and collected Legend a bit there, but no wing damage, so he's alright.
There's an overtake right now at the moment of Arafa, I think, on Zola. And side by side, that's the Williams and the Mercedes. I might have to go on with Neff and P9. I'm dropping all the way down with that telemetry glitch right now, so I'll have to stay with this one, as it will sort itself out. Seeing retirement
yellow
Dragon.
flag.
Yeah, that's an out of the first turn in the pits, yeah. Here we go, so there's an overtake from the racing point, and that's Nerth. Early overtakes before the DRS. There's a tap in the back there, that means the Mercedes is going to go spinning, manages to hold it. It's going to lose a couple of positions, but that looks like Rafa, actually, that we are on board with. So his teammates in P1, he's all the way back down at P12, struggling.
Emma and Cheng are actually very close here. Emma came out of, I think it's turn 10, a little bit sideways. And Cheng's right on the back of his car. He has, well, they're both saving the ERS at the minute, but yeah, if Emma keeps making mistakes like that, then Cheng's going to get a pretty easy move. And you can see how the pace advantage in the softs compared to the mediums. There's nearly a 2-second gap between the front guys and the other Red Bull of Lupo, so yeah, those two are going to be flying away on those softs, and people like Zola and Larson need to get past those medium runners to get the true pace out of those softs before they die off and up a bit.
Let's get on with it as well. Pit stop around here is slow-ish. It's about 29 seconds. It's 60 km/h pit lane entrance. So you want that with a different tyre advantage, you can make sure you're going to build up that gap as much as possible. Here we go, run on Chenjay on the Mercedes. I think it's going to look a little bit all too easy now with that DRS, isn't it? Down the back straight. The heavy braking here around the skating rink complex, I believe it was, built for the Olympics. It's a big sweeping, just consistently doing left, left, left. Puts a lot of pressure on those right rear tyres. The right tyres.
Goes all over the back of Crystals here. I thought he was going to go for a move then, but he seemed to have broke early, so he's went. I think he's going to attack on the DRS straight, possibly. All over the back of him. He'll lose a little bit of time. He's using the overtake back to get as close as he can, though, so I think possible move here for P3 on the next DRS straight. There's that DRS straight in Sector 2 is very long here in Russia. It's not really worth defending on there, as Lubo goes a little bit sideways there.
It's a battle for the mediums as well now. You saw the battle for the soft tyres at the front. Now the battle for the mediums is resuming here for P3. And see Legend is also just keeping up with this battle at the moment.
He's going for the move down the inside. He comes in early, comes Crystals and defends it off. Oh, Crystals has actually lost it. Yeah, maybe a little bit of contact from Lupo, but the rear end stepped out and looks like he's managed to save it. He's pulled out in front of a Ferrari, but Lupo up into P3 and Crystals. Maybe a bit too aggressive on the defending there, has caught himself out.
It's allowed Zola to go through as well. So Zola's gone through on the tyre. He can try to catch the back of Legend. I wonder if he did, Crystals did get any damage. Can't quite see from this angle anyway as they're looking over the rear view wing.
Yeah, his wing looks fine, but his tyres might be too happy because they get very warm around here. He's also used a lot of his ERS to catch back up to the guys in front, so not in a good position now, Crystals, on those mediums, but see what you can do to bring that back. So there seems to be a little bit of a split in the field now from P10 to P11, 4 seconds between Larson and Tipsy, so I don't know if something's happened there or not, but Larson on the softs all over the back of Vicky. Obviously the lovely DRS train that we have here from P3 down to P10, so it just shows how close this field is when it comes to the race pace.
Yeah, they're all the DRS train really from 24/7. He becomes the engine of this DRS train. Many people that's going to hurt right now, they're soft runners a lot. They don't want to be held up in this traffic. Just like our two, Chenjay and Omar leading this race at the moment, the 1 and 2. Well, they're out of that. They didn't want to get stuck behind medium tyres running this.
Vicky actually had a really bad exit here, and he's got the Ferrari blasting over the back of him. I think he dropped a position to Neff, but it looked like he came out underneath the tunnel a little bit sideways and lost the rear end, but he's kept it in front of Larson for now. Cheng and Omar are actually now a 7-second gap. These two are flying at the front. Really enjoying those soft tyres, and I mean, they're still fighting each other as well. Omar maybe being a little more strategic, not trying to push too hard, trying to go extra long on those softs for a nice soft medium strategy. The mediums do feel very good around here in the later stages, so we'll see what happens with the alternative strategy. Both the Red Bulls are split up, so we'll be able to compare those, but as we were saying earlier, the DRS train's very strong here, and 24/7's got a whole load of cars right behind them ready to overtake when they can, and he's having to use a lot of his ERS on the straights to make sure he doesn't lose those positions. But
yeah, if we have a second pause, I can probably find out what the information is on the cars too. I haven't got that screen up at the moment, but I don't want to miss any of the action. I certainly can pull up that screen a little bit later on. Just for myself, I have 3 screens here, so I had to get all the telemetry information. I could probably even give you the tyre information. You can see Legend really putting some pressure right back now on, but can he get past? That's the key. The Red Bull's being positioned in all the right places this evening. But you can tell right now Legend knows that those two guys at the front are pulling away, and he doesn't want to let them pull away too far. And one person that's blocking him from doing that is the Red Bull driver. So down the main straight, is he going to be too far back to try to make a move? Well, don't think so. Add that 17 km/h DRS toe, and I think he should be able to get it around the outside here. If he does, a little bit of wheel tapping going on is to be expected, and that's a lot of wheel tapping. That's going to compromise the Red Bull dropping back a place now, if not 2. He has. Crystals and Zola will say, I'll take that one, thank you very much, and that's definitely compromised the Red Bull. Christian Horner will not be a happy camper down there.
Yeah, Neff also got past Hyper there into the first turn around the outside. It was a nice move from him in the racing point. But yeah, 24/7 really getting caught out from that little fight. Maybe should have just let Legend go and got him on the next straight. Yeah, Solo's had some issues there as Crystals goes through him.
Yeah, oh, there's a spin of Hyper. Yeah. There's also Neff, yeah, exactly. That's just going off, so that's unfortunate. I didn't save the replay of that one because we still have the replay from the start of the race. give him a chance to go there yet.
Having some wing damage, and he won't be too happy. As some end plate on the left-hand side, so unlucky for him, got caught up. I'm not too sure what happened with 24/7. It looks like his rear end just stepped out, maybe touched the curb. But that's unlucky from the racing point.
Yeah, I think he's just heated up, wasn't he, from that little bit of a mistake before, and he's just frustrated and probably just stomped the loud pedal, and the back end's just gone. Anyway, still in the race is key. Crucial points are key. Looks like Crystals was getting pretty well close to the back of Legend. Legend's kind of stepping up a little bit, but then it's still falling away from our race leaders, who are in the 134s, pretty much evenly matched to 134.1 from the two guys in the front. Everybody else is in the 135, 136, so you can see a difference between the pace there, can't you? On lap 7:27.
It's quite interesting to see Crystals be back up and forth as well after his little mistake earlier on. You know, to get past Zola, so really not getting the full potential out of those soft tyres and struggling to get a move done. But good job to Crystals getting back up the order, and they get Legend on this next DRS straight. But if you look at the front here, Cheng and Omar, there's actually a 1.1 second gap. So the Red Bull dropping the Mercedes out of the DRS. He's having to use a bit more ERS to catch up, but Cheng has no ERS at all. He's really trying to get that gap and get some clean air and just getting the extra time without having the DRS worry about DRS worry behind it. That was a word to get out there. Zola.
Yeah, Zola and Hyper. This could be the crossover point where some of these drivers don't like their soft tyres now. Because you can see Vicky's also getting pretty pacey at the back there as well. And Vicky actually up from P12 to P6, so it's a good solid job for the Alpine driver.
Got straight back in front of Hyper in that third sector. It's a very weird one. If you don't have the right line, the traction can be very tricky. Hyper boosting, he's going to have the DRS, who might be able to get Zola into the first turn here. Those softs will not be the nicest of tyres to be driving on now. They'll be starting to die very quickly as Hyper looks down the inside of the Williams into turn 1 and gets the move done.
Crystals also tried to just up ahead. You saw that before when you're watching those two drivers. Crystal's thought about trying to get past Legend as well, but can't. Look at the background there. Looks like the Red Bull is coming back now that he's cool, calm and collected himself. We know he has the pace. Started in P2, now running in P8. He wants to get on with it. And now is the time during this first stint. And we're seeing Neff is the first one to box this evening. And he's gone onto the soft tyres from P17. Nowhere else.
Yeah, after getting that wing damage, I think he's going to go for the 2 stomps, see if he can get anything out of this race. All he needs is a safety car. There's actually a spinning Williams. I think that might be Vito in 16th. He's lost the rear end and gone into the wall. Temperature on those softs maybe caught him out, and doesn't look like any wing damage, but those tyres will not be the nicest of tyres to be driving on. But Crystals has got past Legend.
Yep, he has very well in the third sector. This is the slowest, trickiest part of the couple of left-hand and right-hand 90-degree corners. This kind of becomes this little bit of a street part of the track, but with a little bit more wideness too than Monaco and Baku and all those tracks. So has that unleashed him now to get on with it? But with the DRS, so it's all mighty, isn't it? And we're just going to try to come back on that one.
Yeah, not even using any ERS. That was easy for Legend. The DRS with the extra speed, he's just flying through the order. But Zola has looked on the inside of Hyper and got the move, and the Renault's looking for the move as well. Vicky down the inside of Hyper. As Hyper dives back down the inside on the Renault, goes the curve a little bit, comes back out. The 24/7 the Red Bull as well, looking for a bit of this. He's just squeezed in behind, and the Alpha's so close to touching the back of that Renault. Vicky getting the move done, and the Renault's looking for a bit as well around the outside. It's getting pushed off. A little bit of contact. Still looking down the inside. The Red Bull. Oh, it's another bit of contact. Oh, it started to spin and safety each other. The Red Bull getting the move done on Hyper, who dropped 3 positions there in the first half of the lap here.
It's elbows out, isn't it, between these two? There is no love lost. There is no Christmas cards coming between both of these drivers. They want to just race wheel to wheel. and they are, and that's bringing both of those Ferraris in behind of Nibar and Larson.
The guy in first has pitted and got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, that's going to definitely come back and bite him later on, especially when he was battling so close too, wasn't it, with the Mercedes. Be very careful, because that's the thing. It's 60 km/h pit lane. It catches you off guard. That's Chenjo. Chenjo's going to come out right behind all this battling that's going on. That's for sure. Ferraris will go past as well. He should be exiting the pits probably around where Tipsy Bob is. Oh, there's more tapping going on as we're watching between Hyper and 24/7. There's nothing between these guys. They're just absolutely on the cutting edge, wheel to wheel. That's what we like to see. Very entertaining. Show some of the drivers getting frustrated.
The Red Bull looked down the inside. They look like Hyper had the better pace through that turn. Red Bull still on the back of them, isn't looking for the dive into that turn. Both of them using a lot of ERS. They're both very low, which could open them up to Hammer. He's got 40%, so on the DRS he might be able... Sorry, the double move done. Yeah, Hyper's got the position back off 24/7. Soft runners are starting to pit, so I wonder where Zola will come out if he's pitting soon on those softs. Onto the mediums probably. Cheng came out in 10th, just behind Tipsy Bob, 3 tenths. He's gone to the DRS straight here.
Oh, it's going to be 3 abreast. It's going to be 3 here. I put in the outside. That's got. Oh, that's done a move. That's just a crash between both those drivers. Yep.
So it looked like Hyper turned in a bit early to try and defend it, and Hammer's just said thank you. That's 2 free spaces, and those two pushing so hard. That was going to come eventually. I'm surprised it didn't come earlier. Bit of contact. They won't be too happy. That's Cheng up into 8th, Hammer up into 6th, and looks like Hyper's managed to walk away with it, but has a lot of wing damage, so that will ruin his strategy. Yeah, medium soft is now going to have to become a medium hard from the looks of it, as Zola jumps into the pits, and Omar, the race leader, has also jumped into the pits.
Let's have a look at Chen J at the moment. Here we go, there's Chen J, and there is Omar. So Omar's pit stop has covered him off just...
To be fair, Omar was 4 seconds behind Cheng when they pitted, so maybe Cheng got caught up with his teammate when he came back onto the track, but Omar's gained 4 seconds on Cheng, so that's good from him, as Luca actually went into the pits and retired after his incident with Hyper. Crystal's into the lead now of the race, and Legend just behind, he has that DRS.
Yeah, the Red Bull pit stop was 29.2, so right on the bubble. Omar's pit stop was a little quicker on that one. It was a 28.6. So that's reshaped in the second turn on the pit stop and didn't speed too crucially, which is the one that's definitely going to come back. Sorry. He has a 3-second penalty for corner cutting, but he did not 5-second penalty. So there's only 2 seconds between them as we're seeing another yellow. That looks like maybe for a Williams going a little bit slow.
Yeah, I think that was Vito again. He didn't pick up any wing damage, but...
Yeah.
Ditto spun again on those softs.
That was it. Yeah. He is spinning again, isn't he? He's not having much luck.
Yeah, those tyres not doing too well for him. I do wonder, mate. Oh no, I think Cheng, the reason that he's behind Omar is he actually is going for the move here down the inside into turn 1 with the DRS. Doesn't have an issue with that. He's got the move done before the first turn, but I'm pretty sure he picked up a 5-second time penalty on the first lap as well for corner cutting and getting in a position.
Oh, he
so
did
I think
too.
Maybe he in the pits, so that's why Omar was in front of him, but now he's behind him, so he needs to gain that gap, as there's another yellow flag for the Williams in sector 3, who is not having a good time on those soft tyres for sure. But Cheng has picked up the purple sector 1. He is fine on those mediums.
So Hyper's retired from the session. Another retirement. That looks like a pit stop retirement. So it's 3 retirements so far, but no virtual safety car or full safety car. So we'll race on between the 15 drivers that are remaining. Still see some of those drivers there that all started on the mediums that are yet to make their pit stops. And the battle's resuming, but the battle's also resuming at the front of the grid here between Legend and Crystals. And there is another late retirement.
Yeah, that was Vito, and the Williams wasn't having a good time.
Zola's getting very, very close. In fact, Zola wants to get around the Alpine driver of Shakar. He does.
Down the inside and Shaka backs out. Obviously, Zola's already pitted, so maybe that's a sign that Shakalaka really struggling on those mediums. Obviously, Zola's are brand new, but he still needs to pit again.
Yeah, sometimes not worth that battle, is it? You got somebody with some fresh
Looks like
boots.
there's a yellow flag actually in Sector 1. One of the... I think that might have been Hyper actually, that Paul's retired. Never mind.
Yes, it
Game
is.
bug.
Also, Nether's got past. Oh, no, he hasn't actually. That's just because of the other car that they overtook. So, Legend gets close there to Crystals. Vicky's keeping with them on the pace there, 135.6, actually a little bit quicker. 135.4 for Nibar, that's Hammer, and P4, that's the Ferrari driver.
Yeah.
But obviously,
I'm having a very good race from the back so far. But as we know, Russia's one that it's very easy to pick up the time penalties. So towards the end, if people are picking up little warnings, they could change your finishing position here in this race. 3 seconds would put Vicky into first place if Legend and Crystals pick that up. So a lot can happen if a penalty does come.
Shakalaka's about to be eaten alive by another car this evening on fresher tyres, and that will be Larson in the Ferrari. And try to hold him up as much as possible. Different strategies between these two drivers. Chenje's the fastest man on track in P5. He'll be in DRS range very soon with the other Ferrari, and he's a move from the other Ferrari of Larson, and that should be a pretty easy move. Once again, Chicago will lose another couple of positions. Still has to box as well as our top 4 drivers do, and Tipsy Bob.
Talking about the top 4, Cheng has caught up to the pack, so he's on the back of Hammer now, and that could be interesting. Hammer could split Cheng and Omar, and obviously Omar wants to get past him as quick as he can as well, but if Cheng can get past and Hammer can hold Omar up a little bit, that could be good for Cheng to get that little gap that he needs because of the 5-second time penalty he's got.
Yeah, they're blisteringly fast at the moment because those guys up ahead, they are all still needing to box. Once again, it's a 29 second pit stop. That's going to drop those leaders all the way back to where Zola is, just behind Zola. Maybe just ahead of Larson or not. We'll see. But it'll certainly be close around that place, those positions right now, if Crystals and Legend and so forth up there do decide to box right now. And how far can they stretch those toes?
And then net P3 to P1 as well, they all have penalties, so Crystals, Legend and Vicky, they need to call the strategy right, because if they can get close enough to the guys at the front, those penalties move them up a few positions as well. So these guys need to go in and get on those softs at the right time, and it looks like Crystal's actually making the move into the pits now along with Legend. Hopefully no 5-second time penalties to be given out here. And, looks like, yeah, Vicky jumping into the pits as well. Hammer also reacting, jumping into the pits. So that moves Cheng up into P1, Omar into P2.
Yeah, the 2 different strategies at play this evening. As you kind of expect, the soft runners going to the mediums, the medium runners going to the softs, and we all know that those are serving a very long pit stop there as well too. The Legend is, so there was some time added to him. Just get heads out ahead of Ferrari of Nima.
Sector 2, I think that might be Furious. Yeah, it looks like he's spun on those hard, so his race is going from not so good to even worse, down in 14th as Larson has come out the pits ahead of his teammate, and looks like it's going to be very close to Legend as well. Legend just pulls out in front. Tipsy Bob yet to pit in the Haas, so the Haas is in 3rd and 4th at the minute. Looks like Crystal's getting a very good pit stop there. Didn't come out behind anyone. Zola maybe got caught up in some traffic or something, but yeah, Crystals and Vicky out in front, and he's going to have Legend 2 seconds behind as well. He's going to come for the attack soon. Most drivers now have pitted, so it'll be the fight till the end for the finishing positions. As Cheng has got a 2-second gap on Omar as well, so maybe a little mistake from the Mercedes or something, but he's getting that gap up that he needs to keep that 5-second penalty out of contention of changing his position. As actually Omar's got 6 seconds from track limits, so Cheng's safe for the minute.
It certainly is. As the Ferrari drivers are battling out, they're going to be team orders at play. No, I don't think so. Nibar should get past Larson. He's got the better tyre. I think Larson really wants to hold him up too much. Because they've got Neff in the background.
Yeah, here goes Legend, sorry, on Zola into the second to last turn. He looks like Zola came out a little bit sideways, struggling in the sector 3 with the Tempton's tyres, and Legend made the move and got past. Zola might attack back here. He has the DRS and the ERS, which he isn't using, so he's planning to stay behind. But yeah, nice move from Legend there in sector 3.
Well, I'm furiously retired from this session.
There's a few drivers not enjoying this track really. Quite a few spins. A couple of people are probably struggling with the temps. Not too good, but unlucky for them. Tipsy Bob with Crystals behind him. Might have to let him go here on the straight if he wants to help out his teammate. Obviously he still needs to pit, but we don't want both the Hasses taking each other out. As Crystals actually gives him a little tap up the gearbox and says, "Get out of my way," and he does so. Very close. But Crystal's on the hunt then. We know Cheng and Omar had, I think it was about 12-second gap in 12 laps. So with 12 laps left to go, if Crystals can match the pace of those front two, then maybe he can catch up and secure the win here in Russia.
See, Nibar got past Zola, so by getting past his teammate, he's allowed the opportunity to get up the road there with those better tyres. And the Racing Point driver in P12 of Neath, and that's somebody going off wide right there. That's Zola. Zola driving all the way back now behind.
He's got a lot of wing damage. He's into the pits. It looks like he lost the rear end again in sector 3 and went into the wall, so that's unlucky for him. He was in a decent position, but just that sector 3 and those mediums catching him off guard. Because Tipsy Bob didn't pit, so he's staying out. Going for an interesting strategy here, going long on the mediums and maybe looking for the better softs toward the end. And Neff gets past Larson into turn 1.
Another retirement.
Actually in the pits.
Yeah, so at the moment, there's attrition rate of these cars, meaning just keep that car pointing in the right direction, bring it home this evening, and you could be guaranteed some points at this rate.
In respect to AJ down in the McLaren, who even after a couple of mistakes or any spins has stayed in. You'll have a driver that if they make a mistake they stay in and keep going. There's always something on the line, anything can happen. As Vicky's on the back of Tipsy Bob here. Fly past him. I imagine that 16-lap-old mediums won't be able to do much. He has the DRS. Flying past Tipsy Bob. Is Tipsy Bob going to look for it down the outside though? No, he backs out early. You wonder what Tipsy Bob's going for here, because with the whole pack behind him, if anything, he needs those extra few laps on the softs of the quicker tyre to gain more time. But he's lost 5 seconds to Crystals in just 2 laps, and he's going to react to that. He's jumping into the pits now. Goes Tipsy.
Yeah, it's a smart move. You've got to get it done now. You're going to lose too much time. Shaka has already lost a lot of positions. 16 laps now. He's the only one left on the original tyres he started this race with. Still obviously has to box. You can't stretch them to the end. They would blow up anyway, but mandatory pit stop is required.
Picked up the fastest lap of the race. Nice little extra championship point is Larson on the back of Neff here. He's got the DRS. Looked like he was going to go for a move there, but decided better of it. Pushing Neff, who's on the quicker tyre, maybe using him to put himself along to try and catch back up to the rest of the pack. 9 laps left to go. And just look at the gap at the front. Cheng's gained nearly 6 seconds in it's 3 or 4 laps. So maybe Omar not really liking those mediums, or Cheng's just really good on the pace. If we take a look at penalties as well, Crystal's 8 seconds behind Omar. He needs to make it 6 if he wants to jump up 1 position there. Those penalties really are going to hurt some drivers, as Neff down in P7 has 12 seconds and his teammate has 6 as well, so definitely a lot of positions to fight for here.
Yeah, he's looking to go for that FedEx time penalty award, and unfortunately you don't get any points for that one.
Indeed. I just realised Crystals isn't actually a full-time Haas driver. I was going to say the Haas are going to catch a few more points on on Racing Point today for the Constructors' Championship, but it looks like both the Haas drivers not appearing today, so Racing Point really need these extra points as there's a yellow flag. I think this might be Rafa.
It's Rafa. He's going really slow here. I'm sure if he had damage. Yes, he does.
A little bit of plate damage. Yeah. Not too helpful on the track like this.
He's got the McLaren behind him, catching him, no doubt, very soon. So yeah, Omar and Chenjay still at the front of this race there. Both of them taking one pit stop difference there. Chenjay going in first on lap 9. Omar went in on lap 10. Only a 1 second penalty difference between them, as you can see on the screen. However, Chenjay with that upper hand of at least 6.5 seconds ahead. They're lapping a little bit slower. I'd say Christel's got the move on, started catching him once he got some clean air, and Vicky. So they're lapping in the 133s, the low 133s. So those guys at the front, obviously on the medium tire, they're in the 134s.
I mean, Crystals is flying. He needs, what, half a second now to jump Omar. I mean, if he wants to get Cheng for the race win, he needs to overtake the Mercedes and gain another second. But Crystals is, yeah, he's looking pretty good here. Maybe up for the race win, but he needs to double that pace as Omar actually jumps into the pits.
Interesting.
And tires from the race.
He's retired for the session. Yes.
He's running in second and decides he thinks better of it. Fair enough. Well, that moves Crystals up into P2 then. Vicky up into P3. And Cheng has a 13-second gap. If he knocked the 5 seconds off of the penalty, he needs an 8-second gap to secure the win. 7 laps to go for this Russian Grand Prix, and now Legend and Hammer have their sights on a possible P3 here if they can catch up to Vicky.
Another boxing there from Shaka. Shakalaka finally boxing on 18-lap hard tyres. I think it's a little bit too late, isn't it? It's going to be he's going to come out ahead of Rafa in P11, but. Yeah, that's a lot to gain.
For going that long. There's actually, sorry, the racing point of Legend. It looks like he's spun. He's lost a lot of wing. He's massive wing damage. So his chances for that P3 is gone. I don't know if he maybe got caught up with Hammer or something, but yeah, lots of wing damage on that racing point. It's unlucky for Legend. He was having a very good race as well up the top of the front guys. Had some good pace, but is that another pause retirement coming for the pits? And we're going to finish with everyone scoring points who's on the track, but Larson on the back of Neff. Fight for P5 at the minute. As Rafa down at P10 picks up another penalty there.
It's 12 seconds now, I believe.
That's right, Larson with the DRS. Is he going to go for a move? Looking down the outside, but he's not using his DRS. He's waiting for the waiting for Neff to make a mistake. It looked like he has done there. He's actually lost the rear end a bit, and Neff's gone really wide, and Larson's gone down the inside on those medium tyres. Those softs will be horrible to be driving. 11 lap old softs. I think you'll have to pit again. I don't think they're going to go to the end. Another 6 laps to go. You're doing nearly 20 laps on the pair of softs, and that's what Shaka just did on mediums. So if Neff can get those to the end, that'll be very impressive. But Legend jumps into the pits and retires.
So there you are. Yep, guaranteed points this evening to sort of bring the car home. That actually gives us a chance to go back to that replay before, if it is working. And there is your replay right there. There's the live on the right hand side, and that was the replay of the 3 abreast where that Red Bull gets a bit of a tangle with the Racing Point driver, and they both go off into the wall. And that was quite a few laps back there now, but one of the many accidents and collisions and tapping and so forth that's occurred this evening.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of hard racing. Every move's been, really aggressive. So it's good to see aggressive racing, but when it goes to leading to a crash, that can be quite annoying, especially as the driver. Cheng is, not really getting we're losing too much time to Crystals. Crystals struggling to make much time on Cheng. So Cheng's got some really good pace in the Red Bull, and it's flying as Crystals actually picks up a 3-second time penalty. So all of a sudden, Vicky looking for a possible P2 here. If he can catch up to Crystals.
It's interesting, yeah, because he's quick. He's in the 133.3s. Crystal's last lap is 134 flat. Chenjay's a little slower there, 134.3, but I think Chenjay, as you mentioned there, is just managing to nurse that 11-second gap that he has. Well, obviously with the 5 seconds on top of it, 6 seconds on the little lap. That's 5, yeah. He's comfortable.
I mean, his pace is pretty good on those mediums as well. They're 11 lap holds, and he's doing fairly close to those soft runners. So yeah, some good driving from here, from the Red Bull. But Vicky, yeah, needs to try and catch Crystals, and Hammer might need to do the same. It's actually, I think Crystals has lost it. Crystals has spun and hit the wall.
Yes, he has.
So he's got no wing now. We're going to have 9 drivers finish this race, I reckon. But yeah, Crystals lost on the one. I guess his rear stepped out or something. No wing. He's not going to be too happy as Vicky moves up into P2 and Hammer now into P3. Last to P3 isn't too bad. Can he catch Vicky with these last 5 laps and possibly jump up into second place? But yeah, Crystals is going to have to pit and grab a new wing. But from the way he's cutting all these corners, I'm assuming he's not planning to come back out of that pit.
Absolutely crazy race so far. Another penalty as well applying. He's going to be close at the moment of getting disqualified from the race. He had about 23 or so seconds, and that's it. The game just elects to show you the black flag, and there's the retirement.
I'm not too sure. Hopefully that doesn't bring out a safety car. It has.
Oh, it has.
So him being... That's good. That's not very nice. That is put Cheng at risk now. So him messing around into those pits is gonna ruin someone else's race now. I mean, if you ruin your own, you shouldn't really ruin someone else's, because, I mean, Cheng's under pressure now. That safety car, he's gonna have to make a 5-second gap to 2 soft runners behind him. I think that's a bit harsh. I feel bad for Cheng. But yeah, that's a bit of a lack of respect there from Crystals. I'm not too sure why he's done that. But that brings Tipsy Bob and Shaka back into the race. Stayed out long on those mediums, and now they can grab some fresh softs and see what they can do. Larson comes out the pits on some softs. Does the safety car go in after 3 laps left on this game? Is it 3 or 2?
It depends on how they're bunched up. I've had a safety car on the second last lap before. So
this could be very close to the end.
Yeah, well, safety car will only be 1 lap out if you're on the penultimate lap, that's for sure, because it won't finish the race under the safety car.
Can you serve a 5-second time penalty under safety car?
No.
So Cheng is stuck with that 5-second time penalty. He's jumping into the pits. I'll just double check and make sure the game doesn't serve it. Yeah, 5 seconds he needs on the pair of softs if he's going to get it. I'm assuming that Vicky and Hammer will jump in as well. Yeah, you can serve the 5-second time penalty, so
yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Cheng is serving that 5-second time penalty, so it's all to play for now at the front.
Yeah, it's 29-second pit stop, and that's going to add a little bit more. But remember, you're a cheaper pit stop under the safety car. Vicky boxed as well, so really, I think Chenjay's covered him off. So he's safe. If Vicky stayed out, as well as Newbar, then perhaps he might have been in a little bit of a trouble. But they have boxed, elected to cover off, so... Yeah, I think this is still Chenjay's to win.
Vicky's on 2 warnings. Cheng obviously has got a penalty. Hammer's on 2 warnings as well. Jump on board with Larson as well. Has he got any penalties? Larson's penalty free. So the Vicky and Hammer both have 2 warnings. So 1 more warning, that's a 3-second time penalty that could throw him out the chances for the race win here. But Larson's all clean. So if the whole field can get together before the safety car goes in, this is anyone's race win at the front 4. But obviously, Cheng needs the guys behind to get a penalty if he wants any chance at securing the race win here. He still have a lot of ERS to push. Yeah, 9 drivers left on the grid. Everyone's getting points. And it's just a shame if Cheng doesn't win this. It is very unlucky. He did have a very comfortable lead at the front.
I believe he's going to be pretty much okay on this too as well. Remember that you're going to have a couple of laps without the DRS activation, and that's almighty powerful on this circuit, so he'll just really be okay with, as obviously just that energy recovery management, just to try to cover off Vicky and Newbar. As Larson's still trying to catch his teammate under the safety car conditions. All those 3 cars, Chenjay, Vicky and Newbar, are all tucked up there. You got the Ferrari driver trying to catch him, and a little bit further back, Neth and Tipsy Bob are pretty much close together catching up. These guys are in Sector 2. Sector 3 is where the top 3 are. And anytime now,
yeah, they can get back around. This it's very good for Tipsy and Shaka once again. They stayed out on those mediums. Maybe they were hoping for a safety car back then, but I mean this will help out a little bit. Obviously Neff for the 15 seconds, that's not going to help him too much. But I'm just taking a look at the driver's standings here. Larson needs as many points as he can get today if he wants any chance at catching Garana in second place, who isn't racing today. Cheng is down in 6th. His P5 is furious, but he's not finishing the race today. Neff's just behind Cheng as well, so if Cheng can get the win today, we'll catch him up to Larson a little bit, possibly fighting for a top 3 finishing in the driver's standings. I reckon this will be the last lap with the safety car, so the Mercedes of Rafa needs to get his foot down and try and catch up. And yeah, some eventful, well, 2 laps left to go, will be quite entertaining.
It will be without the DRS as well. I think that he will catch him. Well, they're in Sector 1. He's still in the 3rd sector. He's got a couple more corners to go. We've still got the McLaren there in P8. He's starting just to catch him. He's going around the snow complex, ski complex, whatever it's called.
I mean, if you take his penalties into account as well, he's got 15 seconds, so even if he does catch up, he would need to do a fair bit. But respect him for staying in the race. But before the safety car goes, the only 2 cars not pitting were Shaka and AJ Racer and the McLaren. Backwards on 4-lap hold soft, so his tyres will be up to temperature, I reckon. They'll have a little bit more grip, but they won't be lasting, or they won't be as quick as the new ones. So what can Shaka do under the safety car restart with those 4-lap hold softs? Can he gain any more positions? The 2 Ferraris in a good position here, so scoring some good points for the constructors. Obviously their closest rivals, the Hasses, and the racing points, so an extra few points will be push them even closer to securing the Constructors' Championship.
Yep, we'll get the safety car in this lap, no doubt. There is the call, so Chen Jie will become a safety car, and he needs to get the launch of the century. We know he's very, very quick. He has been practically dominating this race for some time now, but because of that safety car, he's got huge pressure from behind of the Alpine driver and those Ferraris, because they do not have penalties, whereas Chen Jie has 3. So he's got to get on with it. The rain clouds are coming down thick and fast where I am in the part of the world. It's dry here, but I'm sure they're going to be sweating this one out. Certainly Chen Jie will. Now it's game on. Here we go.
He's going. And off we go. Cheng gets a very decent start, but Vicky was ready. Shaka got hit up the rear twice by the McLaren and got 10 seconds worth of penalties, so he won't be too happy. 2 laps left to go. It's all going to be about ERS management, using it at the right times and trying to catch up to the car in front. Obviously, as you said, no DRS, and Hammer picks up that last warning I was on about, so he's now got a 3-second time penalty. So that gives Larson the chance to go for the win as well with Vicky. Vicky picks up another warning that could hand Larson the win here.
He can, certainly. It's going to give Larson a podium. So Larson, we don't know, was also on some warnings. Tipsy Bob can gain a few positions as well, because you got Neff that's definitely got 15 seconds penalty. He's going to drop all the way back. And in those drivers with the large...
can get a podium out of this.
Could get a podium out of this, exactly. Vicky's still putting the pressure on Chen Jie, which is exactly what he wants to do. Chen Jie's time is not on his side right now with the little 3-second penalties that's next to him. Well, sounds little, but it's a lot right now under a safety car, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's picked up 2 purple sectors, so Cheng is flying here. He's nearly got a second gap already. He's looking to try and gain that 3-second gap that he needs, but he's only going to have 1 lap to do it. So yeah, there you go, second gap. He's done 1 lap and gained 1.1. Vicky maybe not pushing as hard. They're both on the same ERS, but he picks up the fastest laps, 31.2 from Cheng. Vicky needs to get his foot down here if he wants to go and catch up to Cheng. And yeah, Hammer's on the back of Vicky here. He's using more ERS. He might look down the inside into this first turn. There's not enough in it. just shows how much of the DRS really helps for the overtakes here in Russia.
It does. It's the last lap as well, so this is a make or break. I think right now if Hammers is going to try to do anything, he's going to try to force Vicky into a mistake so that Vicky gets 3 seconds of penalties, and then it could be game on. But he still needs to get past him. That's what drivers do, you know that. Even though Vicky knows, look, I'm okay, I've covered him off, and I'm essentially going to be on the top step, winning this race. But still, psychological games are at play, especially with those penalties.
At the minute, Larsson's only going to be getting third. He needs to gain half a second in this remainder of the lap if he wants to jump Cheng on his 3-second time penalty. So Larsson needs to get his foot down here. He needs to gain that extra time if he wants to jump Cheng. Cheng's flying. Look at the raw pace he has compared to Vicky, 1.5 seconds.
I don't think it's enough, is it, for Larsson? He might just have to settle for that 3rd step on the podium. Vicky's got this one in the bag, I would say, unless Vicky makes a mistake. Chen Jie, unfortunately, is going to have to just yield on those penalties. They always do come back and bite you. Well, he only has a couple more corners to go around there, so Chen Jie will get across the line and win this race on the track. Unfortunately, we'll lose it out to Vicky. We'll get that P1 there, and as you can see, the drivers just had a little fun spins across there. Larsson gets that P3. He's ahead of his teammate. So Tipsy Bob does get up at a P5. That's a good solid performance there from 18th on the grid to finish in P5. That's what you call just committing to it, isn't it? Bringing it home.
I mean, he went along on those mediums. We thought was a bit of a brave call on the strategy, but the safety car definitely helped them. Again, given Tipsy driver of the day. A very interesting race for sure. Just, yeah, as you said, the penalties, if you pick them up, they do come to hunt you at the end. And lucky for Chen, good job to Vicky on getting that race win, and yeah, Larsson second off getting that P2. But overall, a pretty entertaining race for Russia.
Very much so.
Did you have a driver of the day in mind?
Oh, no, I don't. Really, at the end of the day. Well, yeah, Vicky, you would have to say driver of the day from 11th up into... It's there. And also the non-penalties. Keeping it clean, bringing the car home, the 2-stop strategy. Really, it was a 1-stop strategy under the late safety car. They boxed, obviously, to cover each other off with the tyres. So if you'd like to read through those results for our race.
Yeah, we've got Vicky in P1, Cheng getting P2 based on the penalties. Larsson jumping up into P3. Hammer missing out on the podium just because of a penalty, but gets P4. Tipsy getting P5. Shaka getting P6. A nice race finish for him. Neff P7. Rafa P8. And AJ Racer in P9. And then the rest DNFing from the race. A few pause or tyres and a few mistakes throughout the race for them. Cost them some points today. But yeah, very entertaining race for sure. And I think I'll match her on that. I think Vicky had a very good performance and probably deserves driver of the day out of today's race.
There you have it. Not sure if we're going to do driver interviews or not. If you want to see if any of those
hammering drivers. If you want to jump in.
Yeah. So, if you excuse us, we'll be back in just a minute. We'll see if we can get some interviews. So don't go anywhere.
Hammer then.
Hello.
He got P4 today. Hammer getting caught out. I'll drag him in. There we go. Hello, Mr. Hammer.
Hello.
So, congrats on P4. Obviously, the penalty knocking you off the podium. But overall, fairly decent race from the back. Just run us through how your race went for you.
Yeah. So I mean, I have a big lead in the championship, and Grenade Gorn wasn't racing, so I only needed points to mathematically become champion. So that's why I decided to start from the back again. It was pretty fun, like the fights in the beginning. With most of the guys were on mediums, so I had to get through every train and go from train to train. But then at some point I was stuck behind Lupo and Hyper, and they were fighting each other pretty bad. They were like dive bombing each other like every corner. So I backed out a bit, and I was just waiting for one of them to kill the other, because that was that was bound to happen, honestly. We're gonna clip that later because it was really funny to see. And yeah, then they killed each other, but I lost like 5 seconds or 6 seconds when they were fighting. So yeah, at that point it was pretty hard to think of anything better like P5 or P6. But yeah, people kept dying everywhere. So at some point I was P3, and when I saw there was a safety car and Chen had a penalty, I was thinking of I might get P2, or if I can pass Vicky, even win. But then obviously at the restart I made a mistake and got the penalty myself, and then I knew it was P4 or maybe even worse. But luckily I held on to P4. So pretty happy from last to P4, or like nearly last to P4 and championship. So it was a good day.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very entertaining race. Obviously, when those two guys killed each other, we did get that on the stream. But yeah, it was just hard racing from a lot of people. But with your points today, you need 21 points. So if Gron doesn't race next week and you secure 21 points, for a race win, that is the
nearly
championship. It's very close. But yeah, I think a very good race. Obviously, unlucky with the penalty on the last lap, and you just missed out the podium. But both Ferraris scoring high points today. P3 for Larson and P4 for you. So I think that nearly does the Constructors' Championship for you as well. But from me, it was a pretty good race. I don't know if Big Ols has anything to say.
No, fantastic. Good to see you up in the podium again. Well, almost in the podium, P4. But it was very, very close, as you know. And how did those 14-lap mediums that you started the race with? I guess they were still pretty good towards the end. Or the 14?
Yeah, I mean, I probably could have gone a few laps more, but then you miss on the potential of the softs. So I just decided to pit there. Good that you mentioned it was P4. I think this is the first race I started that I didn't finish in the top 3 this season. In this league, at least. So that's funny. Oh well.
It is. It's the only race that you started that you didn't get a podium on.
Yeah. Well, and you finished as well too, because nine other drivers only finished this race. So that was.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually happy that like 18 drivers even started, because the sign-ups didn't look that well, and then we had 18 starters, and then suddenly halfway the race, it was like, yeah, there are like 10 drivers left. I'm like, what? There are 10 drivers left? Where did everybody go?
A lot of people pause or retired. I think Chen got very unlucky not to win today, and I do feel bad for him. It's just unlucky that Crystal's retired his car instead of just going into the pits and Paul's retiring. So
yeah, I mean, he wasn't voice chat with me, and I even told him like at least try to retire in the pit, and then he was doing that because he already had wing damage, but then he somehow managed to hit the pit entry. It was a bit clumsy, but yeah, I'm not complaining because yeah, at least that spices up the end. But yeah, it was unlucky for Chen.
Well, you've got Japan next week, so hopefully you can score high there and possibly secure the Drivers' Championship. But from me, that was a very entertaining and nice race from you today.
Thank you. Yeah, I hope to do well in Japan as well.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if Big Ols has anything else to say.
Good job. Congratulations. Looking forward to seeing you in the next race. And seeing you celebrate that championship.
Yep, thank you, I will. Bye-bye.
Alright, bye.
I don't think there's anyone else for an interview, so I guess we can wrap it up there.
Alright, not a problem. We will wrap it up. Thank you very much. Sorry to apologise out there to everybody for that bit of a delay there. It was a bit of a time mix-up and so forth. The rain is starting to come down really heavy where I am right now, so any minute now you're going to start hearing in the background, and I can't barely even hear myself with the headphones on. But anyway, Owen, it's been great, man, working with you for the first time. Looking forward to working with you again for the next race. We'll be on time. I'll be on time this time around and have everything ready, hopefully. So
it was a good race. I think hopefully next week we won't see as many DNFs, but congratulations to Vicky from getting the commentator's driver of the day, and very entertaining race, and pleasure commentating with you today.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, everybody, stay safe, take care. Plenty of racing, as you can see there underneath the description of the YouTube. Almost racing every day, so plenty of action that you're going to find here at Extreme Racing League. So good night, take care, stay safe, bye bye. Ow! Itchy. Can't hear anything. Ah!